wants to listen. I feel as though our world is falling apart, floating off into space with our people going with it, unable to fight gravity to go back down to what's left of real humanity. My little brain hasn't rested in years, worrying about those being taken away. My heart breaking as I walk down my school corridors and no one is there. Distant screams, but not listened to or heard. I grieve and I rage the many that feel they can't come back down to earth where they can be themselves, not manipulated by the gravitational pull against society. I scream at the top of my lungs, I'm here, see me, but no response. You're too far up to have a glance of who I am, to even try. Just shoved away, lonely in the reality of today. Communities almost non-existent, families breaking, grieving. What is happening to us? How can I fix this? How can I undo what this virtual world has done to society? And more importantly, young people. That was a poem I wrote at the end last year to express my feelings of being a teenager living in a world where social media has taken over. Now, I have some groundbreaking news. I was raised on another planet, and guess what? So was the rest of my generation. When we turned 10, a visionary billionaire who we've never met selected us for an important mission, to be a part of the first human settlement on Mars. Excited by the idea and the fact that all of our friends were doing it too, we eagerly signed up. But life on Mars isn't what we expected. The air is thin, the environment is harsh, and after time, we start to feel isolated and trapped. This was a metaphor used by the author Jonathan Haidt in the book, The Anxious Generation. The anxious generation. That's what we're being called. Now we are relying on the newly implemented social media ban that we are still yet to see make a true difference, and I don't have faith. Sit back in your seats, everyone, and get the tissue boxes ready, because for the next 30 seconds, I'm going to statistics bomb you. Social media was born in 2009, and this is what's happened since. We teens spend an average of 7.5 hours on our phone each day. That adds up to 47% of our year. Loneliness levels have doubled for Australians' youth. We teens now have 3 selves to manage. 1, we choose to show the world. 1, we keep for ourselves. And now our online brand. And guess which one teenagers prioritize? Emergency room visits for self-harm for girls has increased by 188% and 48% for boys. Suicide rates for girls has increased by 167% and 91% for boys. Take a second to let that sink in. So now let's talk a little about how life can be like offline, and let's see which one you think's better. I grew up without social media and didn't get a smartphone until year 10. So that loneliness and exclusion that many parents fear their children might have if they say no to these platforms, well, standing here right in front of you is someone that has lived that. I moved to Tamborine Village at 5 years old. On day 1, I was already bugging my dad to go meet the neighbours, with both sides having kids. It felt like a dream, but to my absolute disbelief, no one knew each other. So, little me gathered all the kids in the neighbourhood and created a gang called the Arrowhead Gang, of about 12 of us. Now I know what you're all thinking. This is not a gang of committing crimes. It is the ultimate outdoor play game. And the best part is, adult free. And look at me, I'm still alive. We had so much fun, our parents even got rid of our TV. But as we got older, smartphones and social media started to creep in. My friends' mental health declined as they cared more about trends, their looks, and online approval than going outside. I was left the only one down on earth, feeling lonely, isolated, and worried. At the start of last year, I found the perfect way to describe how I feel without social media. I feel like I don't exist. If I don't have social media posting about my life and my interests, no one knows or cares who I am. So, just after turning 16, I downloaded Instagram in the hope that this would all change. I was reluctant at first because I knew all the stats and the facts and how you can get sucked in. Within weeks, my screen time tripled, my attention span shrank, and I started to compare myself to everybody else. I was on a hike with my friends one day, and the first thing that I thought about was, oh my goodness, I need to get a photo of this for my Instagram story. This was a wake-up call. It was invading my every thought. So after a month, I made myself delete it, and I felt grounded again within days. These platforms take over my brain. The constant bings and endless scrolling, rarely having a thought without Instagram involved. Social media has collided like an asteroid, knocking Earth off its social axis, altering the future of our generation. For my call to action, I'd like to finish with a bit of crowd participation. Raise your hand and keep it raised if the following applies to you. Do you work in government or policies? Do you work in policy development for children? Do you work in support of child development? Do you design cities, houses, or urban spaces where children can reside? Do you work in any form of education? Do you work in mental health or social work? If you work in philanthropy, community development, or advocacy for children? Keep your hand raised if you have in any of your strategic plans, funding, grant programs, or frontline services and provisions to support an Arrowhead gang to be able to play and connect where they live, or anything to help the play shortage in childhood and stay off screens. Well, this might be a good place to start. There are a few golden organisations already busting to make this happen. Let's support them and help them grow. We need to work together to get our generation back down to earth.